is when it gets really weird, and it's because of my favorite death ever, because I felt like I waited years for this. The longest story short is they get into one of the rooms. One of the rooms has an MRI machine in it. For those who don't know what an MRI machine is, blessings to you that you have never had to go into an MRI machine. But it's essentially a really huge magnet. And I grew up as a kid, I always had to go because, you know, my heart failure and everything. I'm always in the MRI machine. And they always heard like, oh, you got to make sure you're not wearing any metal. And I'm like, why? And I loved it because one of the radiologists was like, you want to see a video? And they would show me they left a metal chair inside of the room and they turned on the MRI machine and you could just see how it just stuck onto the MRI machine. It was like, that's what any kind of metal does. You just stick there. And of course I was little. He was like, you know, you'll get hurt and injured. I was like, oh my gosh, you could die? Well, and you know how they just a mean radiologist. But ever since I was a kid, I've been afraid of having any kind of metal on me. So I would make them, they can wand you down that detects metal. I'm like, maybe I forgot something. And one time I actually did forget.
Oh no.
My mask had metal in it. They turned on the machine. I'm in the machine, go, and I realized I had a face mask on. There was metal that wrapped around the face mask.
Oh no.
I freaked out. I started screaming. Now there's a button, if someone's manning the MRI machine, that automatically shuts down the MRI. Which of course didn't happen here. Because remember how they kept saying manual override? That is actually true. You need a manual thing. You can't just shut it down. So I have been waiting for someone to die via MRI for decades. And I meant movie-wise in Final Destination. I don't mean like in real life. Movie-wise in Final Destination. We finally got one. And it was beautiful. So the thing is, how did you think of that sequence where they're trying to kill Bobby and everyone dies because of this?
So I think I'm glad you told me that story, because the thing is, I learned something watching this movie. I did not know any of this stuff about metal and why you shouldn't have it in that type of near those type of machines. This actually was, I think, the standout death of the entire movie, because for me, there was steps to it. Now you recall they started with so it's Billy, and what was the other brother's name again? Is it Eric, right? Eric. So Eric had the bright idea to go to the vending machine. You see, go to the vending machine. We're going to get you the candy. But then they had the issue with the vending machine, where they weren't able to get the candy out because it got stuck in the machine. And then he punched the glass and that left the hole in the glass. Okay, simple enough. So then we have the instance where they go into the room. Eric decides to leave for a minute. I'll be right back after because he was going to go get somebody, because he saw that when Billy had bit the candy and was starting to get sick, he was left to go get somebody. He closes the door shut, and then that also is what operates the machine. I guess there was a button or something. It was near the computer. So the machine starts up, and then Eric comes back. You see all this stuff coming towards the room. That was just a very brutal death for Eric, because he had all those piercings, the nose, the chest. I mean, that was, and then of course down lower. It's like, oh, that was just like, wow, that made me cringe. That made me like, oh man, that's brutal. And the people next to me, they were very taken aback with that one, because he literally got pulled into the machine. Everything got pulled out of him, and it was bad. And then on top of that, meanwhile, Billy is still sick. He's still, dying slowly. Eric has the shot that he needs to take. And he gets to the shot, and you're thinking to yourself as somebody watching it, okay, you said, okay, well, maybe he will survive, right? He gets to the shot. The woman comes in right in time. Then all of a sudden, go back to the vending machine. All of a sudden, that spring pops out of the glass, goes right through his head. That was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That was a brutal way to take out two people. And it's funny because the whole time Eric is like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you. I've already gone through this, so I think I'm totally safe now." So it's funny how Death also used him to kill his brother. It's insane. But that was without a doubt the best death for the entire film, in my opinion. That really stood out a lot. It was very creative.
You're missing the wheelchair, because the wheelchair bends him so he doesn't like fold into the MRI was like this regular bloop. He folds backward when his entire body is sucked into the MRI machine like this. And the wheelchair in the room flies through across the room and impales him into the machine. Bobby is dying on the floor trying to get the EpiPen, which still wouldn't have worked because you have to die and then get revived. Bobby, by injecting himself, never died. Remember, I believe he injected himself when it happened, when he got to the pen. That's when the spring flew into his head. Because he was going to die. Had he had died on that floor, and then the nurse came in and would have seen and tried to revived him, that would have stopped the death, the whole sequence. But because he himself grabbed the EpiPen, he's not dead. He did it, so Death was like, "Oh, okay, I see you." Bling! And then here goes the springboard. Went right into his head. It was like, "Oh, you think you cute? Ew." Anyway, so that's what happened, which was just genius, by the way. So I absolutely loved that whole sequence. I thought it was hilarious, and I love the fact we finally got an MRI. I don't know what is taking people so long. She's like, just do the MRI. It's right there. It's a big magnet. Just kill him in an MRI, and they did, and it was so, again, glory. But again, it's so over the top because it was like maximum level and it was like 8 point something. I don't think a real MRI machine, goes to that. Even it actually can kill you. But it does take out, like, for example, when you go and you have an MRI test, it'll tell you, like, if you have like fillings or if you have a pacemaker, an ICD, the thing that Triple H has, you can't have anything also electrical on you because it interferes with the magnet. So pacemakers, and imagine if you have because remember back in the day, they used to do fillings. It used to be metal fillings. So that would come out as well.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
It's really true that you can't have metal on you when you go inside of an MRI machine. But that death, that's what just give me some, I want some awards for that. They deserve all the awards.